me tell you about the facts of life. Sing it with me.
Take the good, take the bad, you take them both. There you have the facts of life. The facts of life. Take the good, take the bad.
To the facts about relationship green flags. Ooh, ooh. Oh, I was trying to do a siren, but we're not talking about sirens. Never mind. All right, so let's start off with what does healthy dating look like for you before we get into what relationship green flags are. What does healthy dating look like for you?
Okay, so this is going to be a new thing for me because I don't know that I've ever really had healthy dating habits. And I think now that I have, done a lot of healing and kind of self-reflection, I could realize the toxicity in myself and the things that were triggering me and causing me to kind of recoil or play those games or, the things.
And I should say, what does healthy dating look like for you for like romantic relationship, friendships, and possibly getting a new employer, clients?
Yeah. Okay. All right. So number one across the board, codependency is a negative for me.
Okay.
Because I'm going to need people to show up with an individual life and personality because I'm there now.
Right.
Because like there was a time whenever I wasn't able to be independent and I would kind of mold myself to the person that I was dating.
Yes.
More so than just like being who I was. But it's because I wasn't confident in it.
Yes.
And I always felt like if I couldn't be myself, if I was myself, then the person that I was interested in would be like, no, I ain't.
Yeah.
Because you talking about some otherworldly, and I'm talking about it. And at that point, I wasn't even talking about anything like that, but I was still kind of expressing that. And like, I'm so sensitive. And like, I listened to on Clubhouse yesterday, they were talking about psychedelics and relationships for awakening.
Yeah, I know that's your bag.
Yeah, so I was really interested in it. And they were talking about the gifts that are there. So like I was really sensitive, so I would read off the person whatever they were feeling, and they didn't necessarily want to communicate it to me because they weren't ready, but I would be like diving in. She done broke the microphone.
I know. I don't know why I did that, because like I was trying to look this, like I was trying to slant, and
well, I have that one at home, so I know the struggle of knocking it.
But I wanted, can you hear, does it sound fine though?
Go ahead, Tom.
Does it sound fine? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
All right.
Turn your mic up a little bit.
Okay, never mind. I just wanted to make sure you guys could still hear me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Well, the mic is right here.
Do you want it closer to you, or are you good?
No, as long as you can hear me, I'm good.
All right.
Okay.
I apologize.
No, don't apologize.
Thank you for being patient.
Oh, girl, boo. But yeah, so like I'm being sensitive and like picking up on people's emotions and feelings and stuff. Like you can be like, oh, this person likes me, and you're like, yes, let's do it, and they're like, whoa, wait a minute, but that's just because they're not ready to receive that much love,
Yeah.
But I was taking that always as rejection because I was coming from parents, friends, anybody. They'd be like, she owned me because we
I
go
love
together.
you.
Yeah, what you mean? We go together. Ain't that what you just said?
Right.
Like, no, I didn't say it, but I'm like, but you did.
Yeah.
So I think like I have to respect that other people are like, dealing with their own stuff and they're like not.
Yeah.
But I do look for somebody who is able to communicate their truth.
Yeah.
Like that's something that I'm still working on too, but like I do want you to be open, like, do you like me? You know what I mean? Like, am I reading this correctly?
Yeah.
Right. So I don't like codependency because I want people to be able to be independent because I want to be independent.
Right.
Because in my work, I have to talk to so many different people. So if you're going to be like jealous and possessive about me having this relationship or this relationship, even though they're non-romantic, if you feel some type of way about me spending time talking to this man about his brand or his mindset, then we can have a problem.
It ain't gonna work.
Right.
It ain't gonna work. So.
Right.
Yeah, so it sounds like you want somebody that's going to be supportive too as well. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's healthy.
Absolutely. And like I just recently wrote a petition for a partner like in July. at the end of my last relationship, I was like, okay, so this stuff doesn't work for me. So I know who I am. I know myself. So I know this is what will work for me.
Right.
So I went inside and wrote it all down.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm not going to play this game no more. So anybody who comes into my life that doesn't fit against that, I'm like, no.
It's not going to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I respect that. It takes a lot to get to that point in your life where it's like, okay, this is where I'm at, and I'm not budging. Because I'm there too. Like, it's just like, I'm not willing to go backwards in my life. Like, I'm moving forward. So if this was something that I used to do, and this is the result that I used to get, like, I don't want to feel that way anymore, you know? So it's like, it's time to do something new, and it's like, it's good to recognize that. So it's like, you can continue to build healthy habits in your life. So I definitely commend you for standing your ground and figuring out what you want to do for sure.
Right. I don't even remember the initial question. I feel like I was rambling.
But I said, what does healthy dating look like for you?
Okay. So I was kind of right there.
Yeah.
What about you?
So healthy dating for me, whether it's romantic, friendship, and vetting, for me, I am looking for a new employer.
Absolutely.
But for me, like, right now, how I'm feeling is like, you have to be supportive. Like you said, like, you have to be supportive of whatever it is that I'm trying to do in my life. And you know, whatever season I'm in, if you can do that, like, that's what I need right now. You know, I need support. Because it's like, I'm trying new things in my life, and sometimes it's not always easy. It's a lonely journey when you, especially like when you're trying to excel in your life and you're trying to be quote unquote successful. But you know, I just need somebody that's going to be supportive, that's going to be respectful and non-judgmental as well. And that's also gonna like hold a safe space for me, you know, like if I need to come vent or whatever it is, like I need that, like, and I'm not afraid to say that anymore. Like, I used to be afraid to ask for help, you know, and I remember last summer, because like I had lost a friend from back home, and I said to my therapist, I'm like, you know, this is a pattern for me. Like, I keep losing friends, you know, and I want to figure out, like, what am I doing that, you know, and it's not, sometimes the friendships I grew apart from them, you know, wasn't like always an argument, but I'm just like, okay, so what do I need to do to, like, for the friends I have right now, what do I need to do to make sure I maintain these friendships, you know what I mean? Because these are new people in my life. Whatever I was doing with the other people wasn't working, so it's like, I've been really intentional on figuring out, okay, who am I, what do I need to do to improve, and not only friendships but family relationships too, because it's like, you know, even though we, you know, sometimes we don't always have the best relationships with our family, you know, we can sometimes prevent a lot of arguments if we figure out how to communicate or whatever it is. So, you know, I just was trying to be really intentional. So it's like, you know, I want to make sure that I'm being a good friend, and like, I want a good friend, like, and not with an employer, but just like, you know, a safe space, like, and I want people to be intentional and with what they want from me. So like, that's what healthy dating looks like for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw this meme, and you probably seen it too, but it was like, excuse me. It was like, when you fall in love with somebody's flowers, whenever it's like, I think it said like, whenever it's winter or something, the seasons change and you can't see, you know, or whenever you fall in love with someone's flowers, about their roots, when the season changes, you don't know what to do.
Yeah.
You know, because people are always falling in love with what you look like on the surface or whatever you can offer to them. And they don't realize, you know, how deep you are or how deep your issues are.
Right.
And when we're talking about being in relationships, yeah, we want people to be healing and growing, but there's some things that are always going to be triggering.
Yeah.
And there's some things that we'll always be healing through.
Yeah.
So it's like, are you able to show up in that space?
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
Are you going to turn away from me if I hit a dip?
Yeah.
you know, because it's gonna be some dips.
Mm-hmm.
So are you gonna be like, oh, I can't handle this, it's crazy? Or
Yeah.
I mean, or are you gonna be like, I understand, I respect that?
Right.
And I think it's funny because it's like people who do that also have their own dips.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
like it's almost like they see themselves and they're like, oh, I know this is too much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? oh, no, I can't take this.
I feel like a lot of people have done that to me, but I'm just like, well, not now, but I know in the past, like, you know, I used to be a lot. I used to be a whole lot. I used to be doing the most for the least sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, you know, I didn't know how to express myself. That's why I was telling my friends, like, I spoke to a couple of my friends this week. I'm like, when I was younger, I did not know how to express myself. I was terrible at it. I was not good at that. Like, I used to go online, blasting people, like, just doing all types of stupid shit. And I'm just like, I'm so glad that I'm past that now.
Yeah.
And, like, I could talk to people and I could just be like, look, this is what's going on. This is where we at. This is how I'm feeling, whatever. Like, you know, I don't want to repeat the same, you know, shit anymore.
Right.
So that's where I'm at.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think communication, even if it is a tough conversation, is one of the things I will say yes to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, okay, I can try with this person because at least they can open up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But if I can tell, because I'm going to be able to tell too much,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to be like, see, something's off with this.
Yeah.
If I feel like you're not able to say, you know, what needs to be said,
Right.
I want somebody who can open and not be afraid. I want vulnerability,
Yeah.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see you naked
Yeah.
in your soul.
Yep.
Because that's the only way we can get intimate
Yep.
is if we're able to connect on that level, because that's how you really get to know somebody. And I think a lot of people are afraid of that depth.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody like me that comes in like, oh, I'm seeing into you and let's go ahead and fall in love and whatever, they're like, oh no, just too much, you know.
So I know that you were supposed to go on a date.
Yeah, I was. And I think maybe I didn't go because, well, I mean, I'm still a little bit worn from the traveling. Because, like, I haven't even unpacked my suitcase. I barely found my contact lenses to come here. And I want to go on the date and present myself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want to take Terrence and Michaela's mama up there.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, this is a great meal. Hold on, because my son got basketball. You know, like,
Right.
I want to take myself and I want to be, like, at my best.
Right.
And, like, I was like, well, what shoes? Because
Yeah.
I haven't, like I said, I haven't packed my suitcase or anything. And I just, you know, I'm kind of tired.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, did you do that to sabotage yourself, or do you really
Right.
feel all that?
Yeah.
So it's like I had to, like, check with myself to make sure that I wasn't sabotaging it. Because, I mean, I have a tendency to do that.
Right.
To stop myself from my greatness. But that's why I understand creatives, because that's what we do,
Yeah.
you know? Like,
No, I understand.
all the time.
Yeah. But I mean, if you feel like, you know, you're tired and you don't want to go, then, you know, I will honor that. And I'm sure that if the young man still wants to go out, he will. Like, look, it's been a up and down week. People got lives.
Yeah.
You know, like, people got lives. So.
And I'm just not sure, like he's not really a young man. Like, this is my older.
Okay,
he's
my
older
bad.
than I am. And also, it's an older white guy. So, and, like, my 16-year-old son was like, he's probably going to try to be your sugar daddy. And I'm like, he's, first of all, not that old, but that's how you're looking at me? That's how you're looking at old mom, you know?
Yeah.
So, I don't know, because when I went back to look at my list today, I'm like, that ain't him. You know? So I'm like, am I going to be wasting his time?
But I mean, have you sat down and talked to him yet?
So the first thing he said to me the other day was he's so excited about the vaccine coming out, and I was like,
that was a red flag for
well, it wasn't necessarily a red flag. It's just that, like, I know we probably won't vibe on a level like maybe like Malcolm and Betty. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what I am feeling like I need in this time. Like, I'm kind of looking for my social justice king.
want social justice king wherever you at.
Right. And I mean, not to say that an older white guy cannot be a social justice king, but he's like, yeah, I'm really looking forward to that vaccine. I'm like,
unprovoked, huh?
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah, no, I understand.
Yeah.
That's tough because it's like if you know where you stand on an issue, like especially when it comes to, social justice and racism and, religion, it's going to be challenging to merge your life with somebody else that feels the complete opposite. So I get that. And I try not to let those things be the determining factor because people can change their mind. It's you just never know. But speaking of red flags, we usually focus on red flags, but let's talk a little bit more about relationship green flags. So I saw this post on Instagram and it had, I don't know if it was a meme, whatever, quotes meme, and it had all these characteristics of green flags because I feel like a lot of time when we're dating, we focus on relationship red flags.
Right.
What is this person doing wrong? And it's sometimes we don't really give them a chance to not prove themselves, but just figure out who they really are.
Right.
And we're all automatically well, he doesn't do this or she doesn't do this, so it's I can't fuck with it. But it's one of the things my therapist told me is, there's an 80-20 rule. 80%, you're not always going to get everything that you want. So it's what, and I guess the green flags and red flags are kind of that aspect of a deal breaker. But it's what can you ignore? It's not that deep. It's you may have a pet peeve about, somebody not washing the dishes right away. But it's if it's not gonna kill you, then it's why would you not date them? It's not that big of a deal. It's not gonna hurt you that they don't wash the dishes within 2 hours of cooking. You know what I mean? But some people do. Some people prefer it. And so I definitely do want to go over what a green flag is. So obviously they're the opposite of red flags. They're good positive traits about this person. And so let's go over some examples of green flags. So what I saw in the post was you're empathetic, responsible, compromise, vulnerable, and you practice self-care. So what are some green flags for you?
I'm definitely looking for somebody empathetic, in touch with your emotions. I like that.
That's important.
Yeah, communication, being able to communicate, has a good sense of humor because life is hard.
Yeah.
We can't both be in the pit at the same time.
That's a good one. Yeah, somebody gotta be on the up and up.
Somebody gotta be up. Somebody gotta be up.
Right.
I wouldn't even say financially super stable because I just want you to have your own money or means of making money that belong to you.
Right.
I'm not looking for somebody excessively wealthy. My hope and desire actually is to have somebody that I can to grow a financial empire with.
Yeah.
I'm looking for that type of person, so I'm not necessarily looking for somebody who's just excessively wealthy by themselves, because you ain't gonna be telling me what to do because you have money.
Right.
Are you, I don't know, not controlling?
Yeah.
That's a huge thing for me.
So, well, you said it earlier, independent.
Yeah,
of doing your own thing, being okay with doing your own thing.
Right.
Yeah, not worry about what I'm doing. Yeah.
Just really not insecure, secure in yourself, in the relationship or in the possible relationship.
Yeah.
No,
for sure.
And I have kids, so I mean, are you at least considerate of that fact?
Right.
Are you interested in my kids in any aspect?
Right.
Because I really have had too many situations in which I feel like my kids or me having kids is either like a burden to somebody, but yet they don't want to
say it.
Yeah. Or
you've had that a lot while dating.
I mean, I wouldn't say a ton, at least 2 times.
So do they pretend?
Yeah, because they're just trying to. They're like, oh, I gotta have me some of that. Oh, I take that. I just gotta have me some of that. So then I'm like in the relationship, and I'm like, okay, but like also, like I have 2 kids. So.
What do they? So how long do they usually like go on with doing it?
Shoot, as long as you let them, you know.
So how do you find out?
Well, it's like, it depends on the person. I mean, you'll see them sometimes. I mean, it can go as little as like 2-3 months, or you can have somebody who'll be like, you know, I do love you. I do want to marry you, and we'll dangle that carrot for years.
That's crazy.
So like, I've had them 2 scenarios.
Wow.
So it's like, at which point, I mean, so like up front, I'm just like, okay, I don't have time to play around.
Right.
You know.
Either you with it or you ain't.
Or you're not.
Yeah.
You know. And you can't be, and this is just for me or anybody listening that's in the same position, you can't be afraid to say, Did it
No.
I was supposed to say,
We good.
I was about to say, he could be like, see, I told y'all you can't.
I know. Your heart jump?
No.
Oh. I got good reflexes.
Yeah, you handle that.
You feel me?
No, but you just can't be afraid to be by yourself, to end up alone, I guess that's the thing, by saying what you are going to accept.
Right.
Or what you're, going to show up for, because, like, I just don't have time for that. Like, if I wanted to play around, I got somebody I can play with.
Right.
But, like, that's not the move.
Yeah, it's definitely niggas out here playing, and they usually don't have any money, so.
Okay, and that's why they're playing, because they don't feel confident in themselves to be ready to do it. And I'm like, and that's a worry that you don't even need to have, because there's somebody who will be like, hey, I'll accept you as you are right now.
Yeah.
And let's go get this bread.
And that's gonna be your person.
Right.
And that's gonna be the end of that.
Right.
And that's okay.
And all these concerns about, oh, I gotta, because this is the thing I hear so much in groups. It's like, oh, I gotta be all the way put together before I can date somebody, or before I can be in a relationship. And it's like, you supposed to be 50 years old in a minute. So, like, if you ain't got it together right now, you haven't realized that you need somebody that's with you to help you get it together.
Right.
Like, maybe that's why we were created, was to support each other.
I would hope not. Like, I noticed that millennials, they're really not on that. Like, some millennials are okay with, like you said, doing the work and dating at the same time. I'm kind of, like, on the fence with that, too, because I'm just like, well, for me, I know that I want to be in a career. Like, I know that for sure. So it's like, that's not my focus, dating right now. Like, I feel like I've been going to therapy. I've been trying to get it right. So it's like, once I do get back out there and I start dating, I'm not going to stop going to therapy once I start dating, or if I get a boyfriend, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think I'm going to do that, but like, I still feel like there's things that I want to accomplish before, I'm in that space with somebody again, because it can take a lot of your time. Like, maintaining and building a relationship with somebody, especially if your goal is to be, married, because that takes time and effort as well. It's like, you guys have to be on the same page, when you get married, it's no longer about you either. So it's like, you kind of have to share your life, and that can be a lot, not like a lot, like a burden, but it's like, you're a family now.
For some people it is a burden, the thought of it. Because I know for me, me too, because I'm like, I've been living my whole life with just my kids, and it's like,
now you bring in somebody new in.
And then I have to like stop being the leader of my house, and I have to let somebody else direct in some ways. I mean, because a lot of ways, like, I will be better than this other party at something.
Right.
But my hope is that whoever does arrive will be good at the things that I'm not.
Right. Yeah.
And the things that I'm just maybe feel like I don't have enough hands for.
Right.
Like, please take over that.
Yeah, for
I would
sure.
love it.
No, for sure. That would be lovely. A dream, right?
I wrote it down, so.
Yeah. Nah, you're gonna get it. I believe that. I see it. But I want to go over my green flags because I was definitely that girl that used to be like, yeah, I needed a deal breaker list, and I was really hung up on it, and like that's one of the things I talked about, with my therapist, because I was like, yeah, like, he can't be doing this, he can't be doing that, and it's like, you only focus on the negative, like, and you don't really take the time to think about, like, okay, well, he may have, 80% of these things, but it's like, you can't get over this one hump, which is like, it's not that deep sometimes,
Right.
So, for me, respect is a big thing. Like, you have to be respectful because I've been embarrassed, way too be mostly in public by men, but I'm not public in private. Sorry, not in public.
Girl, I've been embarrassed in public, and you lucky.
I have not been embarrassed in public yet, but in private, yes, I have been embarrassed, and it's like, it doesn't feel good. So it's like, I want somebody to know, not know, but I want them to have respect for me, like, and that they would never do no bullshit to, like, make me look dumb, like, you gonna think twice before you ever do some shit to, like, embarrass. I don't care if it's in public or private, like, don't do that, don't do it. Like, I'm not even there, and I hope I don't attract men that are still doing stupid shit like that anyway. And you also have to be kind. Like, kindness is important to me because I feel like when you're kind, it's a part of your character. So it's like, you're never going to switch up. You're going to be consistent in, doing quote unquote nice things. So I feel like nice, when you're being nice, it's like you kind of putting on a facade. Like, okay, like, I have to do this for this temporary time being. So it's like, I can look a certain way. I can appear a certain way to people. So it's like, when you're kind, I feel like you're consistent. You do acts of kindness, like, and you are being attentive to my love language, because that's important to me too. Like, I need somebody that's gonna let me cater to you, cause baby, this is your day. Do anything for my man, baby, you blow me away. So I need somebody that's gonna cater to my love languages, right?
How many do you have? Let me find out you got all of them. You're like, no, you're not doing
No,
right.
I'm not. I don't, like, physical touch, maybe, like, the lowest number, because, and I remember I saw this post on Instagram, and it was like, oh, just because you didn't do this as a child doesn't mean you can do it as an adult. And it's like, I'm working through it, but, like, I don't have an affectionate family. Like, we're not affectionate, like, at all. Like, even when I moved here to Houston, and it's like, I don't want anybody to feel bad for me once I say this, but I would call back home to my mom and my grandparents. I'm like, oh, I miss you guys so much or whatever, and they'd be like, they wouldn't say anything because we don't do shit like that. Like, that's really foreign to them. And, like, I'd be like, the times that I did come home, I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm coming home or whatever, and they'd be like, why? And I'm like, because I miss y'all.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. But, like, I'm not, like, we don't really hug a lot in my family. And when I say I love you, especially, like, to my grandfather, he's like an old-ass, country-ass, old-ass man. And he'd be like, oh, okay. Like, it makes him uncomfortable when I say stuff like that. So, anyway. Yeah, like, physical touch is last, but I really like words of affirmation. Like, that's my jam right there.
Right.
Yeah, I like when people give me compliments.
You cute, girl.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You better be hot. I like that too.
I see that fat ass. Like, I like stuff like that.
I like that too.
Yeah, I need to be affirmed that I have a fat ass.
Right. I'm like, I mean, I already know it, but do you like it too?
Yeah, period. I want to. Being supportive is important to me. That's a green flag when you're supportive. Like I already went over that earlier, so I don't want to go back, But, and also being honest, like, being honest, like, that's important. Like, I don't care if you feel like it's going to hurt my feelings, because at the end of the day, like, it's up to me to manage my feelings. Like, I'm learning that in my journey, too. Like, I used to be like, you hurt my feelings, but it's like, they may be telling their truth, and, like, that's okay. I should be okay with that, but it's like, if I'm upset about it, what made me upset about them telling their truth about X, Y, and Z, whatever it is, like, and that may be something I'm dealing with internally that I may have ignored or I pushed to the back of my mind or whatever. So it's like, I want to make sure that you know that I'm managing my feelings so that you can always be honest. Like, I want to make sure that this is a safe space so that you can be honest. But that should also be a part of your character too. Like, you should want to be truthful with people that you have in your life, like friends, family. I don't care. And I also want to say, like, my green flags are for friends and romantic partners and well, not really family, because it's kind of like you got to get them how they already come. Right. So it's like
they're a teaching tool. You get those people because it's like
you just get it how you get what you get and you don't get upset type of thing. Like, that's everybody in your family ain't gonna do the work. Like, and the good thing about, like, I feel like picking your friends and your romantic partners is like, you see, and no shade to people's family, but it's like you see what your family has done, and like, that you don't want to do that. And like, if you want to build your own family, because you can build a family with friends, it doesn't have to just be romantic. So it's like, like, this is what you want, this is what you need in your life. So I think that's a great thing about picking friends and families, because like you really get to pick and vet people out. So it's like you get what you need for your life. Like, that's beautiful to me. Yeah, for sure. So so I said kindness, supportive, honest, and an effective communicator.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't want to argue with people anymore. Like, I truly don't. I know I can get a little feisty, but deep down in my heart, I don't want to argue with nobody.
Yeah.
That shit is exhausting. I did it a lot. And I think, like, a part of it was because I was angry, too. Like, but I don't want to be arguing with people. I want to have effective conversations that lead to solutions.
Yeah.
Whether the solutions are, we're working together, or we just decide to move on and be apart. Like, so.
Yeah.
Those are my green flags.
Absolutely, I think those are great. I asked in my group just to query some of the people, and only the ladies responded, which is so funny. Mm-hmm. Somebody said availability, and I was like, oh, nah, bruh.
Availability, that was a green flag?
Yeah, but I think maybe she meant in terms of emotional. I'm hoping that, because I think emotional availability is a really good quality to have.
Yeah.
But I also think that we have to make a conscious choice to not choose people who are emotionally unavailable. And I know for me that was a huge thing, because my dad wasn't really emotionally available. Mm-hmm. So every time I had a relationship with a man, I was kind of looking for that same feeling. Yeah. I think I talked about this whenever I came last time, when I was just talking about not wanting to send my kids out into the world looking for home when it felt like toxicity. Right. So that's kind of the same idea. It's like, the only relationships I had with men were either like being sexually assaulted or just my dad being like kind of standoffish, and not because he didn't love me, but because that was what he came from. So I'm like, okay, well, this is my opportunity now to be the one that kind of breaks that cycle, right? And to but to receive a partner who is available emotionally, right, and ready to go the distance. And by that I just mean work on the growth of the relationship, because I mean, we're gonna change.
Right.
Like, the person that you hook up with and say I want to be with is not the person that you're gonna be in 10 years, because you're growing.
Right.
You know, you have to. So
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough, but I'm glad that you recognize that for real. Because I was talking to my friend last night, and I was telling her, you know, something similar. Like, you know, not everybody is gonna want to break the cycle, but it's like, it's good that you recognize that everybody in your family is not there, and it's like, you know, you want to do something different, and you want to say like, look, my children are not going to be doing this, my grandchildren are not going to be doing this, and that's a great decision to make. And it's also a tough decision to make, because you could just say, fuck it, I'm gonna just do whatever, and like, that just be it. But I used to get caught up with emotionally unavailable men too, like, because it was just like, you know, well, you hear you think like, okay, eventually they're gonna be available,
right?
You know, like, eventually, yeah.
Or he'll realize how much.
Yep, we have a great bond, and it's like, it's gonna work itself out. No, we not there anymore.
Right.
We not there anymore, baby girl.
No, and I'm glad at it, because it's like you said. I mean, I can make the same choice as I made every time, but like, I'm consciously saying I want to do something different.
Right.
I sat and wrote down everything that I was to accept.
Yeah.
And one of those things was only emotionally available. So it's like, if I meet somebody, even if I like them, if I know that they're not open, I'm not going to be like, well, let's just give it a shot. Yeah. That's a waste of my time.
Right.
Because I can't work on you to become that. Like, you have to grow to be that.
In this space with me.
Yeah. And I mean, it's their choice.
Right.
You know, like,
absolutely. Yeah.
You might miss out on a good thing though, player.
Right. No, I need your number, and that's that, and that's a fact. But I thought that I was gonna be in a space to like start dating again. So I have a couple of friends that are really successful in online dating, and they keep, like, they were saying like, oh, just download Hinge again, just download it again. So I was like, okay, whatever. I downloaded it again a couple weeks ago, or more than a couple weeks ago, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna stay open, or I'm gonna try to stay open. I was going back and forth between that, like, am I gonna stay? I was like, I'm gonna stay open, or I'm gonna try to stay open, whatever. Like, and I don't think, like, you know, I come to the conclusion that I don't think online dating is for me. But anyway, you know, obviously I matched with some guys or whatever, and it's like, it's just not going anywhere. But there's one guy I matched with, we were talking, and he started asking me what my sign was off the rip, and I'm just like,
so you're already trying to discredit me?
Yeah, pretty much. Because he was like, what's your sign? I'm like, why does it matter? You know, because I'm like, I don't even know you, nigga. Like, I don't like, if that's your first question out the gate, like, I'm already skeptical of you anyway.
See, I don't like questions overall.
Yeah.
I want us to get to know each other in a truly organic way.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to talk.
Right.
Like, I will find out what your interests are, who you be with.
Right.
Be a conversation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I hate when they show up with that questionnaire, like, all right, so now, what's your this, or what do you do that? No, none
and
of
they
that.
already like jumping down. I don't like that shit either. That's why I'm like, I think like this, I don't know how I feel about the online dating. I'm like, it's not for me, but you know, I remember this girl that I work with, Sheridan, we do marketing together, and she was saying like she downloaded Hinge too, and she was saying like her downloading Hinge was just putting herself out there in the universe, saying like, yes, I want a date, and like, even if a date doesn't come from this app, like, I'm just saying that this is what I want to do. So I was kind of going in with that same mind frame, but even though like I'm not really ready to date, because like I want to be in my career first. But anyway.
But the thing about that is, I totally get it, and I see where you're coming from, but you could miss out on a totally quality correct.
But I
match.
can't focus. That's the thing. Like I can't focus, and maybe I'm not good at multitasking as good as I think I am. But like I can't focus on trying to date somebody and trying to make this transition, because this is also something really new for me. Like trying to transition into a career, like because I've never done that before. Like I've always just taken jobs because I needed money, not because like I've been intentional. And so it's like I don't 100% know how to navigate career transitioning. So it's like it has been, you know, a lot emotionally, because I'm just like, I feel like, you know, I'm stuck, I'm not really moving along because like I'm still at my job, I don't want to be here. And so, like, I'm just trying to figure out how to navigate those emotions first before, like, I bring somebody into my life, if that makes sense. And it's like, I could casually date, but it's like, I'm still not going to be focused. Like, I know that, you know, like, because I ended up, well, obviously, I matched with a lot of guys, but one guy.
Obviously.
But one guy, he we ended up video chatting, and what happened? And you know, he asked me out, and then like, you know, I was going through it with the going back and forth with my job or whatever, and so you know, I wasn't feeling like in the space to really give him that attention, because I'm like, if I go, like, am I gonna be focused? Am I gonna be attentive? You know, and it's like, I don't want to waste his time either.
Yeah.
So, you know, I ended up telling him, like, you know, I'm kind of good on, now I was like, I prematurely jumped back on this act, you know, and it's like, I don't want to waste your time or drag you into this, because it's like, I kind of have a lot going on, you know, with my job right now, and it's like, you know, let me just take a pause. It doesn't mean that, you know, I can't go back into it, but this is my main priority right now. So it's like I get, and it's like, that's what I'm saying, like, if I do decide when I go back into dating again, like, I'm not going to stop working on myself, but I know that I have a goal to move out of this place, you know, like, because it's too much going on there, and I don't want to be the person to be like, oh, how was your day? And it's like, I'm miserable because I hate this place, you know, like, I haven't figured it out yet. So
I think that's what I mean when I say I don't want somebody codependent.
Yeah.
Because I honestly don't want to be, like, racing into something because I have so much to do. So it's like, let's just vibe.
Yeah.
You know, like, can we get together once a week?
Yeah.
Or can we just, you know, casually discuss every day or every other day, or are you still alive? Send us notes, you know, like,
right.
It don't even have to be nothing major, because I have so much to do,
right?
And I have, you know, my kids and all these brands I'm trying to
help out with,
and my own brands. Like, if you're not about to be a helpmate in all aspects of my life, like, we just need to, like, move as slowly as possible, because I can't have you thinking that I'm gonna drop everything to be, like, at your beck and call. Right. Because that ain't happening.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I agree with that. Like, but I'm just like, because I feel like some niggas, they get caught up in their feelings too, and I'm just like, and it's like, I didn't know him that well, and like, we only talked one time, and it's like, and then we were on the app too, talking, so it was like, it didn't feel real personable for me to be like, okay, maybe I can, you know, go out with him and see, like, how he feels about where I'm at in my life, and like, if he can deal with this type of thing. Like, I didn't get that energy or that vibe from him where it was like, okay, maybe I could take a chance, because like, we had such a great connection. It was like, it wasn't like that, and it was like, that's why I was like, okay, we're just like letting it go and moving on, because I'm just like, I'll find, and if, you know, I'm not saying that, I'm not actively looking. If I'm out somewhere and a guy's, you know, he's like, oh, you know, like, I want your number or whatever, I would not be opposed to it, because I prefer to meet guys out in public anyway. Yeah. The online dating is not my jam. I did it, and I tried, because, like, my friends have found boyfriends from that shit, so I'm just like, maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe you know, I need to switch it up. I need to take a break. I need to get my energy right to attract that guy. And I have to also be okay with maybe online date. It's not my avenue. You know, like, I've tried it. I only started trying it when I moved here to Houston, too. Like, it wasn't something that I was doing when I was living in Connecticut. Like, I would meet guys out in public. You know what I mean? Like, that was always my thing. So I don't know if I translate well online.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think online dating is my thing either. Like, people are always telling me I need to try it, but I'm like, bro.
Yeah, it's like a hit or miss type of thing. Like, it really is a hit or miss. Like, and some people are really successful, and I'm not negating that. Like, some people get married from finding I've seen it.
Girl, I had a stint on OkCupid. And I met this guy, girl, I think that was it. All them years ago. I met this guy, and it was cool. We started seeing each other or whatever. But, like, he just kind of lost it. Like, when I was free, because we weren't committed, and I was, like, you know, out with my friends, and he lost it, was, like, cussing me out, text message, my phone died, and I was like, oh, wow.
No,
so,
that's a red flag if you've ever seen one before.
But I was really proud of myself because I was like, nah, bruh.
Yeah.
And I went ahead and was like, this ain't gonna work for me.
Yeah.
I was really proud of myself because I cut that off before it got too bad.
Hot. Yeah. Good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's tough. And I'm not gonna put anybody's name out there, but I'm just like, you know, once you see, if it's only the beginning, you start seeing stuff like that, that is a red flag. Right. Do not collect $200. Do not keep going. Because it's only going to get worse. It's like we only in month 1 and you over here cussing me out about being out with my friends. Like, that's concerning.
I was like, okay, so no. Yeah. So no. And I mean, I'm not going to lie. Like, I've been, in the past, aggressive. Yeah. In my excitement in a relationship. Me and probably have acted just like that. Yeah. But I work really hard to like not be there anymore, not be there anymore. To be like, okay, we don't go together. Right. This person is allowed to do whatever they want to do. Just like I am able to do whatever I want to do. Right. So like just do whatever you want to do. Like if you're meant to be in a situation that's like exclusive or whatever, you will be. Right. You don't have to force it. You don't have to be trying to strong arm people, showing up at places they're at and stuff like that, cussing them out via text message. Like, that's not necessary. Yeah, it's definitely not necessary. So, when you see red flags, how do you go about ending that relationship? Whether it's with a friend or romantic partner, do you ghost them? Or do you, like, talk it out? Because I know a lot of people, like, that's the thing to do now, is to ghost people. I don't agree with ghosting because I feel like that's not nice. Yeah. You know, like, let people know. Like, even the dude that I was going to go out with today, like, initially I was like, no, I'm not going to be able to do this. So I just told him, you know, I'm not dating right now. But when I decided I was dating, I was like, I'm going to go ahead and let this dude know. Yeah. Because I did tell him I wasn't. Right. You know. And he was like, I appreciate your honesty because, I mean, I could have easily wasted his time. Right. I could have ghosted on him. Yeah. And I just feel like I wouldn't want somebody to treat me that way. Yeah. So I try not to do that to people. To do that to like if there's anything that would hurt me, I try not to do it to somebody else. Right. Yeah. I wouldn't say that I kind of ghost when I see red flags, but I have ghosted people in the past because of my own shit, not because of anything that they have done. But like I definitely, or sometimes like when you see red flags or it's just not working out, it kind of like dwindles off and it's like, or we're just getting into arguments. But I definitely, now that I'm older and I'm more experienced with dating, like I definitely, you know, I try not to do that. I try not to ghost people. I remember this guy that I follow on Twitter, he was saying like ghosting is closure, and I'm just like, okay, I guess like if it's mutual, like you guys just
you mutually never contact each other again, like, maybe that's the closure. But I feel like if you talking to somebody and, like, you know, say for example I'm texting this guy or whatever, and then it's like, you know, I say something that he doesn't like, and then I don't hear from him ever again, but it's like we was just kicking it like a day ago, and it's like, what happened? You know, like, I feel like when things like that come up, like, you should say something and you should close the chapter and keep it moving, because it doesn't mean that, you know, hopefully the other person is mature enough to be accepting of whatever it is that you're telling them, and just be like, okay, like, this where they at, boom, we gonna leave it alone, we gonna keep it moving. But yeah, I definitely, well, I said it earlier, like, the guy on Tinder, not Tinder, who? On Hinge, like, I was trying, I definitely did my best to be honest, instead of, like, you know, because I deleted the app, but, like, getting on there, just never contacting him ever again, because, like, I thought about it, but I'm like, nah, that's kind of fucked up, like, to be, like, you know, just disappear on him, and at least he knows, like, okay, it's not anything that he did, but it wasn't, like, I didn't feel enthusiastic enough about it to keep it, you know, keep it going either, so, yeah. But what tips or tricks do you have to share about red and green flags that you want to leave with the people?
Well, I would just say begin with learning yourself and figuring out what it is that you want and need. Because, I mean, there's things that we need to in our relationships.
Yeah.
Like, one of mine is absolutely my partner can't be codependent and must be open to communicate. But before I knew who I wasn't able to, you know, really define what it was that was a red flag. So I was just like, oh, I want somebody to like me. I like somebody.
Right.
So definitely get to know yourself and make sure that you're not making those choices based on being needy or your own codependency.
Yeah.
Or choosing people who are emotionally unavailable because you're also emotionally unavailable, because when you aren't available, you will not intentionally but intentionally choose partners who won't commit to you because you're still afraid of that.
Yeah.
And this is what I found myself doing, was chasing these men who weren't prepared to commit. And so I was like devastated after, and I will never forget the moment that I said to myself, you are doing this on purpose.
Yeah.
And I just cried because I was like, you trying to kill yourself or something, making these bad choices. But, you know, just
stress
be aware.
will kill you.
Yeah, just be aware. Like, really check yourself. Go to therapy if you need to.
Yep.
To figure out why you're making the choices you're making so that you can start making different choices. Because I think we're supposed to be partnering up, whether it be same sex or not. You know?
Right. Yeah,
We're
for
supposed to
sure.
be.
Build that community. That's
Right.
important. Like, I think like having a village around you, you know, and not the village that you were given, but like choosing a village for you is really important as you get older, because, you know, your family is not always going to understand where you're at in your life, because a lot of, you know, we have older parents and stuff, and it's like if you notice, a lot of our parents, grandparents, they're stuck in one way of thinking. So it's like, it's important that you start vetting people to be in your village, whether it's a romantic partner or, you know, friendship, or your employer. If, you know, you're deciding to work for somebody, that's important. But understanding your values is a great way to, like, notice red and green flags, you know, understand like what you need in your life, and obviously that does come with knowing yourself and experiences. So, you know, even if you think like you've gotten over an experience, it's good to talk about it. Like, even when I feel like, you know, something may be small, like sometimes it'll pop up back in my head and I may have to talk about it, talk through it in therapy, and like that helps me you know, ding, it's a light that comes on. It's like, oh, okay, like, this is what I've been trying to, like, understand or chase or whatever. So it's like talking through it, journaling, reflecting. That's how you understand your values, and like that's how you know when you can. That's how you can detect red and green flags in relationships. Okay. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about green flags because we do spend a lot of time talking about red flags, and you know, we want to focus on positive, and like it doesn't mean that this other person is not going to do things to get on your nerves, but like, you know, make sure that, you know, you're creating the life that you want. That's really important, to live your best life too.
Absolutely.
So where can people find you, Sheba? Oh, you said you're Michelle today.
You can say I didn't have the wine. Okay, so you can listen to my podcasts at Between Us Girls Podcast, and my brand Creative AF. I changed my Instagram name for a minute to @Jehosheba54 because I felt like I needed to stand up in it.
Mm-hmm.
I needed somebody to know I was Sheba, but it will probably be going back to @MS Creative AF. So, and then if you want to see me and my kids, some of the stuff that we're doing, it's @Mishi. So I've got a lot going on.
That's good.
But
That's
I'm
exciting.
here to help y'all. You know, like I came to help the Black creative.
Yeah.
Like I don't know why I was given this duty, but
Yeah.
you know, I have to do my work. So
For sure. So if you're somebody that's, you know, needing assistance with building a brand, Michelle is the girl for you. I am doing some freelance work as well with social media management and marketing. So that's the career that I'm transitioning into. So if you're somebody that needs assistance with your marketing, you know, you guys can hit me up on the podcast page. Make sure you're following Facts of Life on Instagram at Facts of Life Podcast. And oh yeah, make sure you're subscribing to the YouTube. Well, it's my YouTube right now, but Zakiya is working on uploading all of the videos that I do have, because I did have some deleted, but there are a few up. But make sure you're subscribing to the YouTube and to Apple Podcasts, so that we can stay in the know. You can stay in the know. We can have conversation and dialogue. And I want to thank you guys for listening, and enjoy the rest of your week. And I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.